take from my bed to the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8. Will today be rough or will today be great? 9, 10, 11, 12. Lately I've been going through hell. 13, 14, 15, 16. Today's the day. Are you coming? Are you I'm sick of being normal. I'm sick of being average. I'm sick of being mortal. I'm about to be a savage. I see a lot of things that I want. I will have them. I got a new mindset that I just established. I'll march through the cold with the nails on the pavement. I'll shovel that coal just to get out the basement. My story will be told, helping others make changes. I'll be so bold they will watch in amazement.
Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time, you take it. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time, you take it.
Foot up on the pedal, pushing hard to the metal. Make a deal with the devil. Channel rage through my vessel into something that is special. Energy of a rebel, going up a level. I just wanna be greatness. I could feel changes, turn a new page and tie up my laces. I will be the bravest, break out of my cages. I will not be nameless, I will not be aimless.
Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time, you take it. Am I gonna face it? Am I gonna chase it? Am I gonna start or will I keep waiting? Time is limited, quickly fading. Get my mind right, it's my time, you take it.
All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Locked In Podcast, episode 157. Back in the building with a sports episode tonight. So what we're going to be talking about, guys, we're going to be talking about, per annually, how we usually do. We're talking about NFL Wildcard weekend, headed into this the matchups this upcoming weekend. We're also a Philadelphia-based podcast, so we're going to be talking about the Philadelphia Eagles' unfortunate implosion. If you are an Eagles fan, if not, I'm sure you probably don't care, but we're a Philadelphia-based podcast, so we'll give our thoughts. We'll also talk about, is there some hope going into this Monday game? Because I'm sure we're very down in the city right now, not a lot of belief, so talk about it. Want to welcome back to the podcast Zach Round, welcome back Rob, welcome, and then George as always. What's up, guys? Thank you guys for joining tonight.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, everyone? What's going on?
Rob, this is actually this is Zach, and then Zach, this is my boy Rob. So
nice to meet you, Rob. You were on the podcast last week, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
Thanks, man. It was.
Yeah, it was, man. Shout out to Rob for being on last week. 2 announcements. Number one, Rich is going to be on at 7. He called me for the podcast. Got something going on, so we'll probably be on 15 minutes or so. Mario and Dante will be on, I'm sure, shortly. And then Layla does not have a voice right now. She was sick earlier in the week. She was optimistic she'd be able to come on tonight, but she, said, and I quote, she's like, I sound like a 50-year-old smoker right now. So I'm like, I was like, look, I don't want you to come on and hurt your voice. So, so we'll have the other 2 guys in, the other 3 guys in shortly, Rich, Marius, and Dante, but yeah, guys, I mean, we can just kind of hop into this. So, heads up, me, Rob, and George, we're all Eagles fans. But Zach, I know you living on the West Coast. Zach is a Broncos fan. His team, they almost made it. I was like, man, they almost came close to getting in, man, after a abysmal start, but they almost got in.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah, you guys were close. Which is good because actually he said he's more well versed with like the AFC stuff. So like we're more NFC versed because our Eagles are
Obviously.
in the NFC. So
Yeah.
it's like we kind of come together here. But before we get into like the Eagles implosion, we can just go through the matchups this week because this is Wildcard weekend. Yeah, I mean, it's still exciting.
Wildcard it is.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's playoff football. It's always interesting. Got some interesting matchups. Some of them not, maybe not as much, but got some pretty interesting matchups. I'll look to be sure. I have the actual guide of like the actual people who like the actual teams when they play. So the first game we actually have it's Browns at Texans. It's the 4:30 game on Saturday. Browns are actually 2.5-point favorites on the road, which isn't shocking to me. I think the Browns are actually playing really, really good football. Their defense is legitimate. So essentially you give 3 points to the home team. So if you look at it that way, it's like a 5.5-point favor in the Browns because it goes the other way. We'll let the other people talk when they come in too, but just basic start. Like I know I don't have a lot vested in that game, but what are you guys' thoughts on that game? Like Cleveland versus Houston.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great game. CJ Stroud, rookie of the year, definitely for sure. Coming in, leading the Texans to the Super Bowl and a division championship. So I thought that was very interesting. The kid is a stud. He's a stud. The Texans are a young team. They're hungry. I got the Texans beating the Browns, to be honest. Don't believe in Joe Flacco. He's playing well, but I got the Texans edging out the Browns. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Browns on this one. I think it'll be a close game, but I think the Browns. I think they're just too hot right now. They're like some other teams around their league. They're pretty hot, and I think the Texans. They've struggled these past couple of weeks. I know it hasn't looked like it, but I think they haven't been as sharp as they've been previously. So I'm gonna go with the Browns on this one. But we'll see.
Do you think that do you think the Browns cover that 2.5?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think similar. I think the Browns I have the Browns, but Rob, it's a really interesting point because it really could go either way. The only thing I say is I do agree. I think the offense for Houston is better with CJ Stroud and everything. I think better than Flacco and all that. But the Browns defense is scary. Like they got a crazy defensive line. They have a really, really good defense, which I think could be troublesome. I think there might be like a late turnover in that game or something. They kind of gets the Browns into like maybe field goal range and maybe they win by 3 and cover. But I think it's going to be a really close game in Houston. So if it was the Browns at home, I would say the Browns would win pretty handedly. But because it's on the road, that could be a very interesting game if Houston has that home field to see what happens. But I agree. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
George, you have any thoughts on that game, the Browns and the Texans?
Same thing like Rob said. I'm not really aiming for no one, but I think the Browns are kind of going to take it, bro. I think they got that one. I was looking at some wild card stuff there, and some of the matchups are definitely interesting. And then of course with the rest of the the playoffs and all that, like San Fran having a little bye, and going right to the next one. We have Tampa, so we'll see. The Lions, not the Lions, the Cowboys play the my team, our team, the Green Bay. It's gonna be another really good. That's gonna be a firecracker, but we'll see about that one. I know a lot of Philadelphians want the Dallas guys to lose, and if you're a Philadelphian and you cheer for the Dallas guys, it's always that.
Yeah,
what are you doing? But this is football. Anything can happen, and I'm kind of hopeful for us too for the Eagles, but we'll get there in a second. But here's the thing, though. I just don't know, man. It's so rough. We played some not so great football, and then we come back, strong possibly. So it's like we got to study their book and the way they play and all that. They're also a weaker team, but Tampa is. But no, as far as the Browns and the Texans, the Browns they've impressed me a little bit. Some games I've watched. I haven't seen too many of the games, but I did watch one of their games, like the full game. I forgot which one exactly. I was at the cigar lounge I told you about, Steven. They looked okay. They show a lot of determination and heart. So I think the Browns will take it, and then but it's gonna be a tough game, and I can even see it possibly go to possibly overtime. They're grinders, bro. These teams, they just want to win, and they, it's just a time to shine. Think about it. Every coach in the NFL now had this special speech. Guys, we had a great season or a bad season, but this is a time to shine. This is where it comes down to, man. We've seen it in the past where even the Eagles, had rough seasons, and then somehow, in the playoffs, they kind of carry that torch and carry it, well. It's just like the time, like in the playoffs, bro. It's kind of do or die. So teams play a lot different, and the mentality is different. You're not playing a small team that you're already 5-0 when you're playing, I don't know, the Steelers and the Lions. I mean, the Lions look good this year. So far, they've been doing good. So I mean, shout out to Detroit and the Lions fans.
Fun statistic. The Browns actually had the number 1 ranked total defense this year too. Their pass defense was number 1. Their rush defense was 11. So actually, just look. Yeah, I knew they were good. I didn't realize they were ranked number 1. That's crazy. Total defense. So this is gonna be an interesting game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A lot to win and lose for. A lot to play for. That's for sure. But they all got
Myles Garrett is that guy, man. He's that dude. No joke, dude. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Moving on to that next game, we got Kansas City and we got the Dolphins. This one's an interesting one. I really thought that Miami was going to wrap up that second seed, but Buffalo, man, has just been on a tear. They came all the way back, man, won the division, and got the second seed. So Miami drops to the they dropped to the 6th, or it's either 6th or 5th, and it's the 6th because they're playing Kansas City. Kansas City's the 3. And they got to go to Kansas City. Kansas City's favored by 4. Again, if you count for home field, sometimes I always have that in my mind. I'm always counting those 3 points. So it's essentially almost like a 1-point favorite, Kansas City. But it's going to be freezing cold up there. Miami, they play in warm weather. They got to go to Kansas City. I heard it's going to be below 0 at kickoff, 8 o'clock Saturday night down there in Kansas City in the Midwest. So, I don't know, man. Kansas City has just been so kind of like the Eagles, bro, just self-destructive. Like they just drop the ball, they can't catch. But it is Miami going on the road. I'll actually on this one, I'll give my thoughts first, then I'll let you guys know. I'll ask you guys what your thoughts are. I think again, probably another close game. I don't see any of the Saturday games being blowouts, but I think just because of the home field and the Kansas City wins. But Tyreek Hill is coming home. He's coming home to Kansas City. He's going to want to put on a show. Last time they played, it was over there. I think it was in Germany. So it wasn't even in Kansas City. He's coming home. He might want to put on a spectacle. I could see this one going either way. I will be definitive. I'll be decisive, though, and I'll pick Kansas City here. And I'll say it's going to be, again, probably like a field goal win. But I personally think this might be as far as Kansas City goes after this, though. Like if they win this one, but it's a home game. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this matchup?
I think it's gonna be Dolphins. I think it's not. I don't know. I have a feeling it's not gonna be as close as people think it is. I think it's gonna be a 2-touchdown game for Miami. Because Miami's offense, they're really good. And also Tyreek Hill coming back, I think that they're going to just put on a show. And they're going to go out with it, and they're going to be good. But, yeah, I'm definitely saying Miami on this one. I think it's that way.
Interesting. I could see Miami winning, man. I really could. Kansas City has lost a lot of home games this year too. So I mean, they're not unbeatable at home. So it really could go either way. I do think Tyreek Hill is going to have a big game because I think Tyreek Hill is going to want to come back to Kansas City, put on a show up there. Obviously, essentially for his old organization. I do think he'll have a nice game, which will be interesting. And I'll actually have my boy Mario. And Mario, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, my man? How are you?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for joining in, man. This is Zach. I think you've seen him on the podcast a few weeks back, man. So, Zach, this is my boy Mario.
Hey, Zach. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, Rob was just in here too. I think he had a connection thing, so he dropped off. So I'm sure he'll be back. Rich is coming on at 7. I think Fonte will be on whenever. Just a heads up, Layla, she has no voice, so she's not going to be on tonight. But we're talking about the wild card matchups, bro. We already passed the Browns and Texans one, and since you're on at a decent time, actually, it's not too far in. I'll ask you, man, just quick, who do you think's going to win that Texans Browns game? Who do you have winning it?
I'm going to go with Cleveland. Joe Flacco's been playing out of his mind, man. They're red hot getting into the playoffs. They have all the momentum. Houston's a young team. They've had a good season. But I think Flacco's experience is what's going to propel him through to the AFC divisional round.
Okay. And then we were just talking about the Dolphins and Chiefs game. And Zach thinks the Dolphins are going to win. I think the Chiefs in a very close game. Zach actually thinks that the Dolphins are going to win, actually, and it's not really actually going to be as close as people think. My thoughts on that was actually I think Tyreek Hill probably is going to have a big game because he's coming back to Kansas City and stuff like that. I could see that one going either way. I just had the Chiefs in a very close matchup. What are your thoughts on that one?
Same. I actually have the Chiefs winning as well. I think because it's going to be in a very, very cold environment. I think they said the weather was going to be below 0 in KC. And also KC has that like huge confidence boost, playing at home. They've always had success playing at home in the playoffs. And I think that crowd at Arrowhead is going to propel them through. So I have the Chiefs winning very, very close, although I don't see them making it very far. If they do get past the Dolphins, I don't think it's going to be enough to beat either the Bills or the Ravens, who most likely they'll play in the next round.
Yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. Like, I think if they get out of this round, they're not going to – I don't think they go any further. So I'd be shocked to see them go further. They just haven't played quality football this year. They just too many drops. And, it's like we'll get into the Eagles, but it's like the Eagles. I feel like the Chiefs and the Eagles have just been very self-destructive teams this year. It's just sometimes it's just not enough to, all bias aside. It's just, sometimes it's just not enough to, overcome.
Yeah, man, that receiving core is very, very poor, man. They can't make a catch to save their lives when it really, really matters. And it's cost them at least 3 games this season. I remember when they played the opener against the Lions, they missed like 4 completely wide open drops. And then remember when they played us in that Monday night game, man, the guy had it right in his hands, dude. And that would have been a touchdown. Who knows what could have happened. I'm not saying maybe the Birds could have came back and probably won the game on a drive, but you never know. But the ball was literally right in his hands, man, and he dropped it. So they've lost a number of games like that this year.
Yeah, it's really weird, man. It's very weird. So I just think that, I think that one's, I think it's going to be close. But I could see the Dolphins winning. So I've picked the Chiefs, but I would not be like shocked. It wouldn't be like, oh my God, I can't believe they won if the Dolphins did somehow win that game.
Yeah, but the Dolphins, though, like, it's weird. Like, they play very well against the bad teams, but then when it comes time to play a really, really good team, I think I looked at the schedule with the exception of being Dallas, man. They haven't beat anyone else that's, like, really, really good because they lost to us. They've lost to the Bills. They lost to a bunch of really, really good teams, so we'll see what happens. I mean, they had it in their hands. They were playing home against Buffalo last week to win the division, man, and they lost at home. So their inadequacies show when they play a really, really good squad. So I see Andy Reid trying to exploit that.
True. Good coaching and stuff. So we'll see. Then we have Sunday matchup here. You got the Steelers at the Bills. It's going to be a tough environment. The Steelers have squeaked in. Steelers have a really good defense. I don't know. Is TJ Watt's done, right? Like, he's not playing?
No, he's not playing. They're already announced.
Yeah, I think he's done.
Yeah, he's done. So, so they don't have TJ Watt, and then I'll actually ask you guys before I make my judgment on this. But that's the 1 o'clock game. We got 3 games on Sunday. The Saturday games were only 2. We got the 3 on Sunday and 1 on Monday. This is the first game. It's that 1 o'clock slot. At least so it's funny. I'm saying 1 o'clock, but we're all like Eastern time. Like for you, it's a 10 a.m. game on the West Coast. But so 1 o'clock Eastern time slot. Steelers at Bills. What are you guys' thoughts on that one? And then I'll also give you what the favor is. So this is the biggest favor of the weekend. It's a 10-point Bills favorite. If you take the home field, it's a 7-point favorite, but the Bills at home are favored by 10.
Before I give you my prediction, man, I just want to say, bro, it would be so cool if we went out to West Coast and met Zach and we watched the Wildcard game at 10 a.m., man.
That'd be crazy, dude. I mean, the only time I've ever seen football that early is when it's like a London game. But I guess for you, that's like London's like 7 a.m. Or it's like if it's a 9 a.m. game.
It's London. The London games were the London and the Germany games. They were both at like 6 a.m.
Oh my
5 a.m. or something.
Damn. That's a here it's like exactly. That's what I was gonna say. They're like 9 a.m. games here.
I was waking up at like 8. I'd like turn on Red Zone and be like, oh, Red Zone hasn't started yet, and then turn on that game and just like eat breakfast and watch that game and then watch a Red Zone for the rest of the day.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, honestly, I might as well pull an all-nighter, man. The hell going to sleep, bro.
Just stay up and watch football, man.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on that one? Like I said, Bills are favored by 10 in this one.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I mean, Mason Rudolph has brought life to the Steelers offense, and like they've actually been producing pretty well, but I just think the Bills they're just too strong for them, and I think they're going to easily go by them. But, an upset isn't, it isn't something that you haven't seen, so it could happen, but I'm pretty positive that the Bills they're going to win that matchup.
Yeah. So it's Marius, what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I agree. I have the Bills winning as well. Although I will say this, I don't think it's going to be a blowout as many people expect. Because the Steelers, they won their last 3 games, so they have momentum going to the playoffs. Everything went well for them last week. They needed Jacksonville to lose, and they got that. So you never know, man. When the team's red hot like that, the crazier things have happened. But I do have the Bills winning, though, mainly because they'll be home, and they have momentum running with them as well. But I don't think it's going to be as a blowout as many people expect it to be. I think it's going to be a close game. I have the Bills winning 27-20.
All right.
Well, interesting. Yeah, interesting. It's an interesting one. I got Rob. Rob, what's up, brother?
Hey, guys. Sorry, have some technical difficulties. I'm back.
Nah, it's all good, man. It's all good. I was gonna say,
Rob?
What's going on?
Yeah, Rich will probably be in a second too, and then we'll see if Dante gets in here. But we actually just break it down in games. I'll actually go back real quick. So we just real quick. What are your thoughts on the Dolphins Chiefs game? Most of us took the Chiefs, but Zach actually thinks the Dolphins are going to win, which I could actually see happening. But I do have the Chiefs in a close one.
Yeah. So I thought that's a very interesting game. We got Tyreek Hill coming back home. I know he's gonna play in the snap. He was basically close to winning MVP, hitting a 2,000-yard season. So I have the Dolphins being competitive on this one for sure, but I can't go against Patrick Mahomes, and they're at home. I got the Chiefs edging them out, not by much, but I have the Chiefs winning.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. And then we were on the Bills one. This is the biggest line of the weekend. It's a 10-point home favorite for the Bills at home. Zach has the Bills winning. He said he thinks it's not really going to be as close either. He agrees with that line. And then Marius actually said it's essentially a cover. He actually said they're going to win 27-20, so it's a 7-point win, which means they wouldn't cover it essentially. The Steelers would actually make it closer to what it would be. What are your thoughts on that game? It's a 1:00 game. It's Steelers going into Buffalo.
Yeah, so I got Buffalo. I don't see how you can go with the Steelers. Steelers don't have a great quarterback. TJ Watt is out. And Buffalo's on a roll, like you said earlier. So I got Buffalo beating the Steelers by a higher margin than the other games, to be honest.
Yeah, and I'll ask you in a sec, George, but I'll say the same thing. Yeah, I think this is probably going to be unanimous. I got Buffalo too, and I think they're actually going to cover that 10-point line. So Buffalo looks really good, and I'm going to tell you right now because the Ravens aren't playing this week. I think the AFC is going to be between Buffalo and Baltimore. Both those teams are really good, but I would not sleep on Buffalo. Buffalo's been playing really good football, and I would not sleep on them. They've been the fact that they were able to get the 2nd seed. I didn't think they were going to win that division, man. They just went on a tear. Just we're able to steal it from the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So I do have Buffalo win. I think George is having some tech difficulty. So when he comes back, I'll ask him on that game. But yeah, I don't think there's really much to say. I think that Buffalo is just going to kind of win that one handily. It's a pretty unanimous one. It's going to be I think it's going to be the least close one of the weekend. So and then we have, at least as Eagles fans, other than our Eagles game, we have one of our favorites coming up, and it's the 4:30 slot. You got Dallas versus the Packers. Just initial thoughts. I'll let you guys give your predictions, and then I'll give mine at the end. But initial thoughts on it. Dallas is favored by 7.5. You give 3 points for the home team, 4.5. Yeah, like Dallas plays really good football at home, and everybody says that 6 of their 8 wins at home this year have been blowouts. However, Seattle took them to a close one. I forget who the other one was that took them to a close game, but somebody else took them to a close game too.
Detroit?
Yeah. Detroit. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, Detroit was really close. Technically, Detroit should have won that game. I don't care what anybody says. Detroit should have won the game. Got checked in, whatever. But yeah, so Detroit and Seattle. But I think the Seattle though is like kind of like Green Bay. Like they weren't a great team. Seattle didn't even make the playoffs. I don't know. I'll give my prediction in a second, but it's just Dallas just finds ways to do. I was kind of just finds ways to lose, but I was kind of hoping that Dallas was going to play the Rams because the Rams are playing really good football right now. The Rams have Detroit. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this one? Like I said, Dallas is favorite 7.5 home game for Dallas. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I'm gonna take the I'm gonna take the Cowboys, as hard as it is for me to say that as an Eagles fan. They're home. They've been undefeated at home, man. It's gonna be tough to beat. They're very, very fortunate to play Green Bay because I will tell you this: if it had been the Rams, I actually wouldn't be surprised if the Rams actually went in there and upset them because the Rams are red hot right now. So going back to that Rams-Lions game, that's gonna be a good one. So we'll cover that when we get to it, but I have the Cowboys easily beating the Packers 34-21.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, I'm right there with Marius. I agree. While it hurts, it pains me to say this, but the Cowboys, they look real good. And to be honest, this is the year, even Stephen A said it on his podcast, this is the year that they can possibly make the Super Bowl. That's how talented they are. So they're number one in QB pressure. Michael Parsons leading the way with leading the league in most QB pressure rate. So Jordan Love is a young QB. While he does look good, that Dallas D-line is going to give him some work for his first playoff game. So CeeDee Lamb and Dak leading the league in touchdowns. Great connection.
Yep.
Packers defense won't be able to hold up against that, to be honest. So like Mary said, I got the Cowboys winning, to be honest, 34-10.
Oh,
but I will say this though. I'm glad the Packers made him in because even if they do lose handily, it will give Jordan Love some really, really good playoff experience. And who knows what may happen to that franchise? It might be like with with Aaron Rodgers and all that. Maybe he can become the next Aaron Rodgers. So this game will be really, really important for him for his developmental moving forward because that team's going to be good for years to come.
Yep, and I will say this: my little brother is a Packers fan, and it's probably the first time I'm gonna be cheering for his team to win, even though they probably won't win.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a close one. I don't necessarily like the Cowboys either, but I think they'll come out on top on this one. A running joke I've had with a couple of my buddies this past couple years was, oh, Cowboys are always first round exits. They always choke, whatever. And I just don't see it happening this year. I think they're gonna go past Green Bay, not easily. Green Bay is gonna put up a fight, but I don't see Green Bay taking the win on this one.
Okay. Yeah, my thoughts are, all good points. I do have Dallas winning as well. I think that they win by 7, so I actually think it's going to be a little closer. I think maybe even a garbage time touchdown by Green Bay to make it a little closer. So I don't think they'll cover that 7.5, but I think that they win by 7. It's weird. Like obviously, like in my heart, I want Green Bay to win, but I think Dallas, if they play their style of football at home, how they've been playing all year. Undefeated at home this year. They've won 15 straight or something at home or something crazy. They play their style of football. They're going to win this game. I agree with Marius. Had they got the Rams there, I would have picked the Rams. I'm not going to lie. I would pick the Rams to win on the road. If they were playing L.A., I would actually say the Rams win this. But because it's Green Bay, young quarterback in Jordan Love, like Marius said, good playoff experience for him. I think Green Bay's defense is one of the worst in the league, so I think that that's where the Achilles heel is going to come into play. I think it's going to be that I don't think they have enough time to turn this around, and I think that Dallas's offense is just a little bit too good. I don't know how their O-line is. I know, Rob, you're saying you think that that D-line is going to be able to come at that O-line. I don't know how good their O-line is, but their defense has not been great at all this year from what I've seen in terms of rankings, rush and pass. Rush and pass. And I just think Dallas's offense is just too high-powered, especially playing at home. So 7 points could be a garbage time touchdown by Green Bay that makes it look that close. But, yeah, I hate to say it. I got Dallas, but I'll be rooting for Green Bay. And then, George, what are your thoughts on this one? I know Green Bay, you're an Eagles fan, but Green Bay is kind of like your second team to root for.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, bro. I think we're going to lose, to be honest, but I don't think it's going to be like that much of a blowout. I can see us losing by, like you said, like 7 points, somewhere around there, like 10 points, 12 points. I think it'll come down to like a touchdown or two. They rush the quarterback. They got some young Lions, man. They play really well. Our team, the Packers, we kind of be a little bit. It's like we got the talent, we got the coaching, but they've been a little bit like confused with ideas. It's like one week this happens, another week this happens, but at least we made the play. We're kind of right there. You know what I mean? We're like not too far away, and I'm glad that we can kind of at least get something done. The first year after Aaron Rodgers left, new quarterbacks and all that. Not our year for sure. And Dallas unfortunately looks really good, like Marius and Zach and Rob said. So I think Dallas wins that one. Unfortunately, obviously I would like nothing more than Packers to win and go forward, and possibly we'll see. I mean, maybe even play the Eagles, but I mean we'll see. I don't know. I'm not really gonna say too much. I do think Dallas could win and go to the next one, and we'll see. But I don't think it'll be a blow. I think the Packers will kind of will be blitzing more. We'll have some different plays for them, and I think they studied the Cowboys well. But ultimately, it's gonna have too much. It's too much to handle for them. At least this time around. Maybe next year we'll beat them. This year, I don't think so, but I could be wrong, and I'd love to be wrong. So we'll see. That's a game I'm definitely gonna watch 100%. Just like the Eagles games. So
I think that's how everyone is. I think everyone wants the Packers low key, but they know that the Cowboys are gonna win.
Yeah, the Cowboys are strong this year. I mean, they kind of they started the best season, had a few losses here and there, but they it's like we kind of started messing up when we didn't have to mess up, and we did great in the beginning. And of course, the haters and some pundits will say that well, the Eagles never played no good teams. Bullshit. We beat Kansas City. We had some nice wins against some tough teams as well. But the top teams, unfortunately, it's like we crumbled towards the end. Whereas the Cowboys still looking good, like midway through the season, like after October-ish, and there are a couple losses, but they look good. And I mean, now it's like when it matters the most, they're delivering. And fan or not fan, I'm not really a fan. I'm just like a guy that watches the games, support. I ain't doing any fanboy shit. So get me out that word first of all. You know what I mean? But other than that, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I don't want to admit it, but they're winning, and good for them. Let's focus on our game. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the Chiefs. Like I'm going to say, if Dallas wins this, it's not going to be an easy game for them to play in that second round, no matter who they play. Even if they play us, I know we haven't been playing great football. If we have to play Dallas in the second round, we're going to fight, and we're going to play hard. I think, especially for Dallas, we got our asses handed to us last time we played Dallas. If we play them again, in Dallas, I do think we're going to fight. So I don't think it'll be an easy game if they do get to the NFC Championship. If they play the Rams are playing good football. So, I mean, if they have to play the Rams, that's going to be tough. If they have to play the Lions, that's still going to be tough. And then, whoever they play is still going to be tough for them to get to the NFC. So, we'll see.
I have a question. I have a question real quick. I have a quick question. So, and it's kind of related to this, but it's probably a little ahead of the thing. What do you think wins, guys? What do you guys think if the Lions play the Eagles? Do you think the Lions beat us at this point, or are they just too much strong in confidence, or are we just that fucking done at this point? We're okay, it's we give up already. Because I mean, let's be real.
I want to talk about this Bucs one first because I don't even know if we're gonna get past that.
Yeah, let's address the Buccaneers game first because I have a lot to get off my chest when we get to that one.
Yeah, so that's why that one's at the end. But
Marius, look, it's got another part of the country too, bro. You're a Philly guy, but you also about Tampa.
Guys, I do want to welcome in Rich. What's up, brother? Welcome back in. Thank you for joining, man.
Yeah, what's up, Rich?
What up, Rich?
Hey, Rich. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
What's going on, Rich?
Doing pretty well, yeah. Man.
Yeah, nice headphones, bro. I like the green.
Good to see you, Rich.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Rich, I want to introduce you to Zach because I know you know the other guys, but Zach, this is Rich, and Rich, this is Zach.
Nice to meet you.
Our new West Coast plug, Zach Round.
The West Coast plug.
Well, I mean, Zach does actually play football. He's played football, so I mean, obviously, it's we played football for fun a little. Zach actually played as well for a while in college, right, Zach? So it's good to have a perspective like that. And also, Zach brings some good perspectives in terms of football, as you do, Rich, and everybody else in this panel or in this podcast, so to speak. But, I mean, we have some tough games, but I mean, obviously, for the most part here, we all kind of cheer for one team. And I got two because I fuck with Packers as well. People don't know, but the Packers are kind of my team too. And Zach has a different team, but the perspectives are kind of the same, and we're all in the same boat, man. We all want our team to do well, and I mean, I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope for the Eagles, unfortunately, although I am still hopeful. I think we can actually beat Tampa. And unfortunately for my other team, the Packers, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it is what it is.
Yo, Steve, so when are we going to see George do the Lambeau leap?
Yeah, it's him that. I was gonna say, Richard, we're at the Packers and the Cowboys game right now. We worked our way across the Saturday games and then into the Sunday ones. Before we've all picked Dallas. I picked them by 7. Rob and Marius have them as kind of blowouts. George is around where I'm at, and Zach has the Cowboys winning as well in a close one. What are your thoughts, man, for this game?
Dallas versus Packers.
The favorite 7.5.
And Dallas is at home, so their home record speaks for itself. I will say that, but I mean, they got lucky with a couple of games, especially that game against the Lions. I really thought the Lions should have won that. I did go back and look at the replay. He did report to the referee, so I don't know what they're talking about. But I mean, listen, call me crazy. I'm going to go with the Packers, and this is why. Because of the Cowboys' playoff track record. They have a history of kind of choking in the playoffs, Dallas. They have a history. Now, they usually make it, maybe they get to the divisional round, but they never get past it. But I will say Packers the Packers do have the Cowboys' number. As just a franchise similar to how the Seahawks have the Eagles number. Like it just for some reason we just can't beat the Seahawks for some freaking reason. But it's the same thing with the Cowboys and the Packers. It just seems like the Cowboys can't get past the Packers. So I know that Packers are 9-7. I think that's their record. And obviously Dallas has had a better record. One I will say though that I just think that Dallas has a history of choking in the playoffs, and I'm going to maintain consistent with my thoughts on that. I don't even think they'll make it past the wild card round.
I'd love to say it. I'd love to see it, bro. I mean, to be honest, everybody in America, unless you're a Cowboys fan, they hate the Cowboys. I've never heard anybody say I'm a fan of this team, but low key, I like Dallas. I've never heard anybody say that. If you're either a Dallas Cowboys fan or you're not, everybody can't stand the Cowboys unless you are a Cowboys fan. That's just how it is. But I hope you're right, man. I low key think if the Cowboys don't play their style of football and they overlook the Packers, maybe they can win. I just think because they're at home, Green Bay's defense is ranked one of the worst. I think that Dallas can expose that on the rushing side and obviously the passing side with CD and Dak. Yeah, I hope you're right. I'm sure Rob's brother is going to hope you're right, too, since he's a Packers fan. So,
yes, sir. I'm going to be cheering for his team. So,
is that Jeremiah, the Packers fan?
Yeah, Jeremiah. Yep.
Yeah, he's a Packers fan.
I don't know how. Don't ask me how. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows, man? If they upset them, that would be hilarious. That's gonna be implosion. If Dallas, as good as they've looked, they're calling Dak the MVP and all that. If they lose that game at home, in the playoffs, that would be crazy.
I just think that there's going to be a shootout, and I think that Dak is going to throw an interception to cost him the game at some point during the game.
If it turns into a shootout, that's not going to benefit Dallas, I think.
No.
Dallas has to win this handily. You're at home, and you play very well at home. 6 of 8 games have been blowouts at home. If it gets into a close game, that's going to be worrisome for Dallas.
I mean, the refs have been taking care of them at home, and I think the uproar really came with the Lions game. I think that they're not going to allow that same officiating crew to officiate them during the playoffs, and I think that they're going to lose out because of it.
The refs don't always take care of Dallas in the playoffs, though. That's the funniest part about it is they take care of them all season, but in the playoffs, they don't really take care of them. It's hilarious. They've always had calls go against them in the playoffs.
But by taking care, do you mean they actually dick ride him and give him some gifts along the lane?
Favoring them, yeah, favorable calls.
All right, let's keep a nice game and they sympathize a little bit. Because I mean, any referee can sympathize if the team is not doing great and they see the call was actually a real call. Okay, let's call that. And then there's petty calls and favors, like you said, they kind of help them out a little along the way. In the playoffs, Rich is right. Dallas does not do great. It's they do really good in the season, but time they hit the the finals or the Super Bowl. If they even go to the Super Bowl, now they choke. But they choke in the playoffs often. I mean, they lost to us. They lost to a lot of teams in the past.
I will say with Dallas has flexed their muscle this year, and they've really blown a lot of teams out. Not all of them have been good at all. But they even blew us out at home. Dallas, I would have to say, I hate to say it, they look like the second best team in NFC this year. They're kind of where they're at. But unfortunately, they're going to have a gauntlet in San Fran if they got to play them. San Fran is head and shoulders, I think, above everybody in the NFC. But I hate to say that too. But I'm just being honest. And the thing about Dallas is though, I don't know, but they've also had weird stretches where they looked absolutely horrible. They absolutely got blown out in that Buffalo game. Buffalo destroyed them. They couldn't get any offense going. So they've had games where they've just looked horrible too. Not only did they blow teams out, but they got blown out. It's weird. Dallas will find a way, I think. I do think they win this one here, but I think like I said, second round is going to be tough for them. But I do think they'll win this one.
Yeah, that's going to be a big mental game for Dallas, though, because they're notorious for doing some bizarre stuff and not being who they are, what they should be. And if they don't show up how they usually do, they're going down. And Rich said actually earlier, he was like, "Oh yeah, if Dak throws an interception, and let's be honest, Dak is kind of going down that path to where he will throw an interception, and I think he will, but we'll see."
Exactly. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'll say this though. If you were to bet him in, who would you pick? I'll have to go with Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Rich.
Yeah. That's true.
Listen, when everyone bets for Dallas, they lose. So you can bet. It's just going to encourage me more if you take their side because they tend, when the expectations are high, their play is low. They don't meet the expectations.
Let me ask you this, Rich. If you had $100 and you had to put it on either one, you'll put it on Green Bay?
Green Bay has had their number in the playoffs and even in the regular season. So remember the Dez Bryant, just weird stuff like the Dez Bryant no catch thing, that was very devastating for the Cowboys.
Okay, Rich,
that was
$10,000. Would you put it on Green Bay?
I'm putting it on Green Bay for a shootout versus Dallas.
Let me ask you this one too, Rich. Is this because, I will say, do you think it was more so Green Bay and weird stuff happening, or do you think was it Aaron Rodgers too?
I think it was Green Bay in general. I think that it's certain teams that are matched up. The schemes are match up worse because it's the same thing with with the Eagles in Seattle, where Russell Wilson beat us, pretty consistently, and now Geno Smith has beat us, and it's the same scheme and it's different quarterbacks. Yeah. And it's even a drop off. I'll even go as far as say, it's a drop off in talent from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, most definitely. But just some teams just don't match up well against each other, and Green Bay has a great run game. They can play keep away. So as much as we want to talk about Green Bay Packers defense, offense can run the ball and play keep away and essentially cover that up. That's what has been. Eagles are a great team, right? The coaches are trash. So what happens is our coaches allow other teams to play keep away. And that's why you barely see us have the ball. That's why we're constantly hitting 3 and outs. So it's really coaching. Do you trust the question we should be asking is, do we trust Mike McCarthy over the Packers coach? I don't know. I wouldn't pick Mike McCarthy over the coaching staff over in Green Bay.
Yeah, Matt LaFleur, I understand it was with Rodgers, but he's been to an NFC championship too. He has. I don't know. It should be interesting. I just think Dallas on the home covers. I hope you're right, Rich, because I would love to put on Undisputed Monday morning. I would love to put on Undisputed on Monday morning and see Skip losing his mind. That would be just hilarious.
It's going to be a lot of broken hearts. It's going to be a lot of broken hearts on Sunday. I'm telling you. Just watch.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. I hope. And then we have another good game after this. We got that 8:00 game. It's going to be the 8:00 slot on the East Coast, 5:00 West Coast. We have the Detroit Lions at home versus the Los Angeles Rams. Detroit is favored by 3. If you give them the home, it's literally a pick 'em. If you give them the 3 points for home field, it's a pick 'em. It's literally What are your guys' thoughts on this one? I'll give you guys my thoughts in a sec, but Rams, just a heads up, 7 of 8 they've won. Only loss was to Baltimore. In Baltimore, they lost in overtime. Essentially, that loss is the only thing keeping them from 8 straight wins headed into the playoffs.
Oh, can I say something about this real quick, guys? And then I'm gonna let everybody else go because something about the Lions. I know this girl, right? I'm cool with, like from a while ago. This like older lady. She loves the Lions. So I took a picture of a friend of mine named Cody Hearn, who's like a MMA fighter, but he went to Michigan State College, right? And so he had a hat on, and I remember she caught my picture. She said, "Yo, you actually like the Lions?" I was like, "Well, my friend does." Said, "I mean, they're okay." I said, "It's not my team," but and she's like, "Oh, it's cool. He's rocking the Lions hat." I told her, "Well, he's like a really big like name in MMA. He's a prospect, and he was a star wrestler for Michigan State, so obviously he messed with the Lions." So then she's like, "Well, my team is not the greatest, but we'll do better." She's like, "In a few years, watch us look good." Next thing you know, like 3 years later, they're actually doing kind of okay, right? And I'm like, I remember I texted, I said, your team won the first match day, which was like around, I guess, September 4th or 5th. So look at the Lions, guys. The Lions have done a lot of improvement. They could possibly be one of the most improved teams since last year because nobody gave them a shot. I mean, they thought they were trash, and look at them now. They're actually like, they enjoyed a little success, right? Sometimes, guys, when the right formula, like Richard's saying.
I can't hear him. What is that?
I think this thing lost.
I think we lost. Oh, there we go.
There he is.
Is he?
We lost you for a second, George. What were we saying there? Oh,
all right. He's gone for good now.
From the studio, you out, bro. You out. No, I'm just kidding. We'll get to his thoughts in a second, but so what are your guys' thoughts on this one? Like I said, 7 of 8 for the Rams. Lions, first home playoff game. Marius, we were talking about this last night. What did you say since 1990? What was it?
I think 94, I believe, or 93.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the cheapest ticket they said was like $850. And I'm like, yeah. So I actually I'll go first. I'll take the Lions, man. It's gonna be the first time they're gonna have a home game in such a long time. I know their fans are gonna be fired up, man. I'm pretty sure Jared Goff is looking to get some revenge on the Rams for trading them to Detroit. It's going to be very, very close because the Rams are just as good. So I got the Lions winning 34-31 with a walk-off field goal.
Wow. I didn't even think of that, man. It's the Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, the switch. Yep. Matthew Stafford played for the Lions and went to LA. You got Goff going to Detroit. Interesting. What are the rest of your guys' thoughts on this one? I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I'm going Rams all the way. Well, not all the way, but I've got Rams in that game easily taking care of Detroit. I just think that Matthew Stafford has a little more experience than Jared Goff, and that'll really show in that game. Even though they are pretty evenly matched, and I should be rooting for Detroit. I've got a friend who likes Detroit. I used to play against Amon-Ra in high school, so I kind of have more favor on Detroit for me personally, but I think the Rams are going to win. I just think that they're going to come in. They're doing super good. They're really hot right now, and I think the Rams are just going to take care of them.
Okay. What are the rest of your guys' thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so my thoughts, I got the Lions edging out the Rams 34-31. The reason I got the Lions are ranked number 2 in passing yards. Jared Goff has been snapping this year, playing well. They have a great high-powered offense, and the Rams defense is ranked 20th when it comes to pass yards. So Jared Goff can do a real number on that defense. Aaron Donald's not the same as he is. Only had about I think 8 sacks this year. So I got the Lions going off on that defense due to their high-powered offense. But the Rams do have a close shot. That's why I think it's going to be a very close one. Could be winning by a field goal, but I got the Lions edging out the Rams.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree, man. 100%. The Lions are edging out those Rams. I say this because Matthew Stafford dealt with a pretty kind of pestering injury earlier in the season. It has affected his game. I've seen it. I don't know. I don't know if it's still going to affect him in this game or if he's fully healthy. But St. Brown and the run game that Detroit has, it's to me, I think it'll be a close one. I really do. I think it could really go either way, but I mean, my side of the coin is with the Lions just because of they're at home. The fans are going to be pumped. They haven't been in this position in a long time, and so not really fun to Sirianni right now. But what he says is true. Hungry dogs do run faster.
Yeah, man, they got more to win or more to lose rather. I think the Lions going to edge them too. It's going to be a close game though, but I think the Lions is going to win. They're home. They're improved. Yep. They're good players. LA hasn't. The Rams. I mean, they be looking high, but it's like very consistent. But
they've won 7 of their last 8. I'm honestly gonna say like it could go either way. The Lions are at home. I think it's going to be a super close game. I think it's going to come right down to the wire. I'm going 28-27. I'm gonna say it's a 1-point victory and the Rams pull it out. It's weird. Like it's like Rob said. Like they do have the Lions do have a low key really good pass defense. So you have to kind of watch out for that because you never know. Both quarterbacks are actually really experienced because Jared Goff has actually been to a Super Bowl. And Matthew Stafford's been to 1 too, and he's won 1. So
Goff is pretty good. So
yeah, both quarterbacks are actually experienced. It's going to be interesting. Dan Campbell too cannot think of this game emotionally too. He thinks a lot of times emotional, like it makes like really rash calls, like in like games. I'm like, this is a playoff game. You got to be smart. I thought it was kind of dumb what he did in that Dallas game. Like I was all for him going for it the first time, but when he didn't get that call the second time, and they pushed him back to like the 10-yard line, and he still went for it. I think he should have kicked the extra point, tied it, went to OT, and played it out. I'm like, sometimes he just thinks a little emotionally. Hopefully, the moment isn't too big for him at home. I don't know. The Rams are just playing really good football right now. Like they could be due for a loss too, but they've won. Like I said, they literally were 3 points away. I think it was 3 points away from being 8 straight wins going into the postseason. A lot of their games have not. Some of them have been blowouts. They actually beat the Browns pretty bad. And some of them have been very close. Some of them they barely squeaked the win out. But
but don't forget though, the Lions also like lost some close games. They beat the Vikings like 20-30. But
I do think Sean
McVay. By 1 point.
I was gonna say I do think Sean McVay is a low key very good coach too. So not saying Dan Campbell's not, but I'm just saying Sean McVay. Okay. See, Dan Campbell has never ever been to a Super Bowl. Sean McVay has. I don't know.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
It's weird. I could see the Lions winning it though because the Lions are at home. They probably should win that game. I just have the Rams winning a very close one. So that'll wrap up the Sunday games. Now we get to our squad, at least for the East Coast guys here.
East Coast,
Philadelphia Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the 8:00 slot game on the East Coast. West Coast 5:00. Monday Night Football. So we get to see how all these other games play out, and then our team takes the field Monday night. I haven't felt this down about an Eagles team going into the postseason, and I can't even remember. Because even when you're not a good team, and usually most of the times we barely get in, we don't really have expectations. This year we're coming off a Super Bowl, and not only that, we started 10-1. We go 1-5 in our last 6. Literally very close to going 0-6. Almost lost that Giants game the first time we played them. I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen an implosion like this, but I'll open the door to you guys here. What are your thoughts going in to this game? What are your thoughts on the implosion? And is there any hope for this team going forward?
Shocking. Absolutely shocking. They said that the Eagles are the first team in NFL history to start the year 10-1 and to now win 12 games. It's never happened before. I thought I'd never see a stat like that ever, especially considering a team that is so talented, that has an offense with Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert. You have that offensive line, and to have an implosion like this is unimaginable. I will say this. I do think they will beat Tampa on Monday. In case if they don't beat Tampa, I think they have to fire Nick Sirianni. I don't see what the point is of keeping him here, man, if you can't even beat the Buccaneers. I can understand maybe if you beat the Bucs and you lose in the divisional round to either Detroit or Dallas, or if you make it to the NFC Championship game, you lose to San Francisco. I can make the case for him staying here, but if they lose Monday night, bro, they have to fire Nick Sirianni, and not just him. They have to fire Brian Johnson. And I don't know what the hell they did with the defense. Changing it to Matt Patricia obviously has not worked. We've seen that. I mean, they were absolute trash against the Cardinals, an absolute fucking dumpster fire of a defense. And then last week against the Giants, that team fucking quit on them, dude. That was a quit job. They were better off just not even taking the fucking turnpike, dude. Just stay your asses home and fucking forfeit the game. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. I'm just like stunned, man. I mean, bro, we were 10-1 when December started. Think about this for 1 second. When December started, Jalen Hurts was in the MVP conversation. We were favorites to get back to the Super Bowl, if not potentially win it. The new year hits, dude. Not only is that out the window, but we're in the playoffs as a wild card team. How the hell does that happen? How? It defies logic.
It's unbelievable. I also just want to address Candace said, hey, guys. So Candace, thank you for joining in. But yeah, I just
yeah, and just one more thing. I think Steve, me and you have talked about this, man. I don't know what happened, bro, but something happened in between those Cowboy and 49ers losses. Something happened in the locker room, man. I don't know if it was morale, or maybe some of the guys just have personal issues with one another, man, or maybe if it's like a war between the players and the coaches. But ever since those 2 games, man, this team has not looked the same, dude.
Yeah, so this is coming from an internal source that I think Philly 500 knew. It's an internal source. Something happened in between that Buffalo and that San Francisco 49ers game. So even though the Eagles won that game in overtime, it might have been game of the year. I think that the players voiced some concerns. I'm just speculating here. I do not know what the actual internal issue was. But I think that some of the players went to the coaches after that game and was like, look, we've been skating by on wins. This is not working. Something needs to change. And I think that, like, I don't know if it was Nick Sirianni. I don't know if it was Howie Roseman, like, coming from up top with the analytics and all this stuff going on. I don't know if it was, like, the coordinators, but I think that they could shunned. I think they completely shunned, if I had to guess, these players. And when these guys are grown men, professionals, talented athletes, and you just completely disregard them because you kind of think that you're the smartest man in the room and, you don't even come together with your players. I think that gradually over time, like, they looked completely unprepared to play in that 49ers game. They looked absolutely unprepared, and they never, ever fixed it. And it just seems like, I don't know, it's been a downward spiral. They really could have lost that other Giants game too, which would have been 6 straight losses after that.
That would be terrible.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. I'll say this, and then as my quick prediction, I think the Eagles will win. I think their game plan has to be smart. But the thing about it is they'll win this game. But that defense is so bad. I understand. Like, I looked at the statistics in this. Tampa's actually pass defense is horrible. It's ranked like 29th, and the rush defense is like 6th. But when we rushed DeAndre Swift against them, I understand it was like week 3. He had like almost 200 rushing yards on them. I think you have to rush the football. I don't care what their statistics are. You have to try to keep that defense off the field as much as possible. And you have to run the freaking football. I think Tampa's going to come out blitzing. They're just going to do exactly what the Giants did last week. They saw that blueprint, and they brought heat at Hurts on almost every freaking play. They're going to see that. And I think Todd Bowles is going to bring that defense, and he's going to blitz Hurts. You have to run the football. You have to. They're going to be expecting that pass. And then guess what? If you run effectively, it opens the pass up. But we want to keep our weakest link off the field, and that is our defense. Our defense is ranked like dead last. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, over like the last, it's been horrible. For the defensive side of the football, I don't really know what to say. That D-line can't get home, and when you do bring pressure, they get beat down the field for a big play. So
we need our place to be a game.
Well, Slay's coming back, and then you got Bradbury on the other side though, and that's the thing. They play zone and they don't travel. So like what I mean by don't travel is Slay is not going to follow. They have a habit of not having your best corner on the field follow a guy. So if Slay's on Mike Evans on one side of the field, and then Slay shuts it down, and they move Mike Evans to the other side, put him on Bradbury, if they continue to play defense like that, that's going to be a home run play. Like Bradbury's going to get cooked.
Don't forget, they also have Chris Godwin too that can cook you as well.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, exactly. But like, I'm talking about only going a deep ball to freaking Mike Evans over James Bradbury. If it's 1-on-1, they bring me like it's going to be a problem. I think the Eagles win. It's going to be very close. Let me see what the actual line is on that one because that's actually the one I did. Ironically, my own team, I didn't really.
Yeah, but question though, if they lose, do you fire Sirianni or do you let him stay?
You do.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, he must go. At this point, everybody's saying the same thing. Sirianni's in a tough spot. I mean, if they win,
because at that point you've lost 6 of 7. You've lost 6 of 7, and very well could have lost that other Giants game. I think you have to because I think at that point the locker room's gone. I don't think you can bounce back. I don't care if it's a blowout. If it's a blowout, it's absolutely. But even if it's a close loss, I don't think you can bring them back. I just don't think you can. And the Eagles are actually a 3-point favorite on the road, so it's actually a 6-point favorite. They're actually favoring them decent here in this Tampa game. But the Eagles were also like, what was it, like a 13-point favorite against the Cardinals? They lost. Yeah. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this? It's just that's my thoughts here. I don't really know what you can do to improve the defense right now.
I mean, like you said, Steve, definitely got to be blitzing more. We got to be on top of their game. Somebody at the club told me yesterday that, like, this OG that comes there, he's a huge fan. He said in the past with beating them, he said, he's always kind of like looking at the plays. Got to look at the playbook and look at their kind of like what they do. But I'm like, but here's the thing, though. They've been noticing the things move wrong. We have a kind of like, I don't know, unless Sirianni is kind of some kind of trick or some kind of like playbook or something in his mind that no one knows about that he knows exactly how to beat them. It's like, we haven't looked good in the last fucking 3 games, man. Even against the Giants, the first game, we edged them, but it was close. We didn't look that great. It's like a shitty win sandwiched by like 3 losses and 2 other losses. You know what I mean? It's just like, and I told them, I was like, I don't know. I said, I'm not very hopeful, but if the time is to shine, it'll be now. I said, if they kind of get it together, he said, the trick will be, said, like, if we can kind of like recognize the plays and if we like know how they play, like, if you kind of like basically anticipate them and blitz them a lot. I'm like, I don't know. I said, I guess, I hope you're right. And it's an OG that watches, he understands about the Eagles. He's been watching it for years, probably before all of us were born. So I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to be very pessimistic, but at the same time, trying to be real. And I mean, right now it's like the defense. Yeah, that is our weakest link, and unfortunately our weakness is the defense. It seems like we let too many passes, man, including some bad, misses. We had some calls, people, like fumbles and all that, like shitty plays I've seen in the last games. But we just didn't look at the Eagles at the start of the season in the last like 3 games.
No, man, fuck that shit. Listen, listen. I'm about to go on a rant, bro. Because I'm about to. I'm sorry, y'all. Just give me,
ahead, man.
Just give me a good like 2 minutes, real quick. Listen,
let it loose, man.
This all this shit goes back to what I was talking to Steve about. I think I've told Rob and Mario and George this too. Yo, we never should have got rid of Doug. We never. The only reason that Hurts is even on the Eagles is because of Doug. All right. Sirianni came from a coaching tree, yes, that's similar to Doug in a sense, but he does not know how to coach a full game at this point. I mean, if you can't make proper adjustments, we've seen time and time again, and it kind of started with the Super Bowl. Shane Steichen covered up a lot of that's our offensive coordinator from last year. He covered up a lot of Sirianni's flaws, right? And he developed Hurts along the way. When you take that away, all the flaws, all the coaching decisions and flaws, all the stubbornness that Sirianni shows, along with especially Brian Johnson, and this goes into incompetence, right? Whose incompetent decision was it to promote from within people who were never experienced as offensive coordinators on the NFL level, right? Because we got Desai has been a head coach for Temple University. I understand that, and but the thing is, you've never been a defensive coordinator in the NFL, and I know that you got to start somewhere, but I just don't think that they have the track record or they have put in the time in the NFL to learn and develop themselves as coaches. And it just goes into some of the, I don't know if you guys watch Baldy's breakdowns, but he broke down exactly what was the issue with the Eagles offense. The long drawn out routes. This is something that AJ Brown has complained about continuously, and nothing's been done about it. So all he can do is just kind of throw his hands up and walk off the field because people keep doing what? 0 blitzes, right? All out blitzes, right? Against Jalen Hurts. They don't have enough. They don't have enough guys to block all of that. So what the rest of the NFL does to diagnose and treat that, they do quick routes, right? They do slant routes. The issue with the Eagles is, for some weird reason, and it happened during the first half of the Seahawks game, we would throw slant routes, quick routes, and then we just stop. We just wanted to throw screen passes at that point. And it's just, or they'll call verticals on a all-out blitz against Hurts, which has him kind of, he's kind of eating dirt at that point, because it's like he's going to, when he sees guys coming at him and he's constantly getting hit, his bad habits come back, where he starts to pull the ball down and try to run his way out of it. That obviously doesn't work. And they're not calling up or drawing up plays to get the ball out of his hand fast enough. So the fact that I know this as a fan, it's pretty sad how we've gone through 4 or 5 weeks where we've been dealing with the same bullshit, and they still haven't found plays or drawn up plays to diagnose all-out blitzes and diagnose zero blitzes and disguise blitzes.
Yo, just to go off your point, Rich.
Good point.
Yo, those stupid screenplays, man. That's how Devontae Smith got injured, bro. I don't know why they keep doing those stupid ass screenplays, man, on the 3rd and 20, dude. That's how Devontae Smith got injured, man. Ridiculous.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you guys noticed this on short third downs, like 3rd and 5s, they're going I formation up the field, so they do the opposite. Instead, like it'll be a 3rd and 5, and they're going I formation, and you got your receivers going 20 yards down the field. Like, what are you doing? All you need is 5 yards to get the first down. Why is there's no slant routes coming inside? They're going I formation. They're going up, and the routes are too long. They're taking too long. They'll be bringing zero blitz, and you're allowing these routes to go like 20 yards down the field. It's like Jalen doesn't need them to go that far. Just get something, even if it's like inside, then out to the outside. But it just needs to be like 5 to 10 yards. And I don't understand. It's crazy. And then, like you said, on like a 3rd and 20, they'll go for a screen. Like it's nobody. It's not faking anybody. It's not faking anybody out. And on top of it, like in the red zone, I don't know how many times we've seen on like a 3rd and long or 2nd and long, they're freaking doing a quarterback draw. You can like see when it's coming. They're having Jalen go into a quarterback draw. Like it's become so obvious. Like there's times I'm like, they're going to do a quarterback draw right here. You see the formation. And just
and I don't know if it's Brian Flores or Nick Sirianni that's calling this, man. I have to figure out who the hell is calling these dumbass plays, man. Like, there's no way in hell somebody can be like this incompetent, dude. Like, it's not working. Why are adjustments not being made, man? So I'm like, I don't know. I have to figure out if it's Nick Sirianni that's calling it or if it's Brian Flores that's calling it.
Brian Johnson or some of the plays got to change. There's a lot of if it's Howie Roseman, bro, that's a problem, man. Howie needs to stay his ass up at the booth, bro. He's got no business being downstairs. Rob, what were you gonna say, man?
Yeah, I'm starting to think it's the capacity of Brian Johnson. Like, I don't think we can even make any more adjustments. I think that's his capacity. Damn. Like that's the problem. They're even saying like the opposing defenses can figure out our plays so easily because we're so limited and so predictable in our offense.
Too predictable. That's the problem.
Right. So I think it's the actual capacity of our plays. Like, I don't even think we can make any adjustments unless we just tear up everything and put a whole new playbook. So to be honest, it's just not looking good. Like, we have the talent. We have Jalen Hurts and we have 2 number 1 receivers on any other team. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, both number 1 receivers. Swift is having an amazing year. Jalen Smith,
right.
Jalen Hurts coming off an almost MVP season, best quarterback in the Super Bowl last year. Great. So we have all the talent, and we're actually the number 1 ranked offensive line. So we have all the talent in the world. That's why it doesn't make any sense how we're looking so bad. So I just think it comes down, like Rich is saying. Yeah, I think it comes down to the coaches. I don't want to blame the coaches the only because the players execute the strategy, but I think it comes down to the actual strategy of how they're setting things up. It's just horrible. We lost to 2 coordinators, and we just look like trash. It's like you see a big difference. So I think it comes down to our actually offensive strategy, our coaches mainly. Yes, the players play a part, but I'm too much talent for it to be this bad. I have a question.
I have a question for you guys, and this is kind of like for Rich because he made a good point, but for everybody kind of on the panel. So, do you guys think like you know, in the season, you kind of have like a game plan, and obviously every game is different, but you have kind of like you said, Rob, like there's a playbook, there's some plays that you're going to use for most of the season, and then there's some stuff, you know, kind of like plan B and everything else. Now, this is the question. We obviously have a great team. We have some very talented players that could play pretty much any team in the league and do great in the franchise. Do you feel like it's obviously the coach's job, any staff, do you feel like those guys didn't really do a great job in like sort of like modifying throughout the season? There is something that we all know about. It's called modifying or kind of like adapting mid-season. Like sometimes it's not going as well, and you have another team coming up. You got to change some plays and change a few things. There's players that might be injured, players looking better. Do you guys feel like Sirianni didn't do it, and his staff didn't do a great job in sort of like being able to modify some? And again, sometime after November, because we started losing like mid-November. Like, you know what I mean? Like we were doing great until about that, you know, like the Buffalo game. Do you guys feel
December.
like we didn't get enough? Like, yeah, December. There we go. Do you guys feel like we didn't have enough like changes that like would be like positive changes? Like, okay, let's try something else. Let's have a plan B. Okay, well, this didn't work. We got the one guy, you know, Devontae got injured. You know, maybe we should change some of the tactics. Do you feel like that's the main reason, or do you just feel like we're just like kind of like a fish out of water at this point? We're just kind of like we don't have no real like references in our mind, because I mean we do. The players can always, you know, excuse me, change things around. I mean, we beat Buffalo in overtime. You know, one of the best games that I've seen the whole season. You know, even up to now. So I think, you know, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we didn't really like some of the stuff we should take opportunities of better. You know, advantage of like some plays. You know, players, you know, playing. We know we had our, you know, Hurts looking okay. Next thing you know, it's like they're not really supporting him enough. You know, like you said, Steve, it's like you can predict what he's going to do. The draws enough, he's going to take it in himself, and then you kind of can see it. If we can see it, imagine the experts on other teams. You know, they're scouts, they're, you know, the playmakers, you know, they're players, the coaches. It's like they kind of figured us out. So do you guys feel like the team didn't really? It's not the team; it's so much like the staff that didn't do a good job to kind of like push us the way to go, and you know, change a few things around within the plays with the blitz and all. Or do you just think it's just it was coincidence? You know, we just kind of like felt like in the form. You know, we're not in great shape anymore. You know, it's just like we. I mean, obviously psychologically too. You can't have 5 losses, 6 losses, or whatever. 5 losses, I feel like, you know, we're, you know, I mean, it's all good. Obviously, you can take a toll on you, but what do you guys think? Do you think it was mostly the players or the coaches just didn't really keep up to par with the plays and they didn't really, like, kind of study the other teams, you know?
I think it goes hand in hand. I think it starts with the coaches because one important thing that you have to do is as the game goes along, you have to make adjustments. So if you see something that's not working, you have to, you know, figure out what that is and make an adjustment so it doesn't happen again. And I'll give you a good example. Like look at last week against the Giants, man. Dude, New York blitzed on every single play, bro. And what did you see the offense do? They didn't make not one adjustment to stop the blitz. No draws to the running back. No quick screens, no nothing, man. You just saw them bring the blitz, and you had Jalen Hurts running for his life, man. So they've done a poor job of adjusting. And my concern is that it's not really so much about the talent. My concern now is more about motivation, heart, and energy. Like this team has lost its morale, man. Like they've collapsed in such a way, which I think that this is why I'm saying, like, if they lose to the Buccaneers, you have to fire Nick Sirianni, man. Ain't no way in hell you can run this shit next year. So it's just they have to play with more heart and they have to play with more passion, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right, go. Who was next? Rich, you want to say something, Rich, or Rob? Who was it?
I was gonna actually ask Zach real quick.
Get Zach in there.
Being an outsider, because Zach's like, we're all Eagles fans, but I'm kind of curious what Zach's thoughts are.
Yeah, no, I got to watch what I say real carefully now because I am, in a pack of Eagles fans right now. So the game will be interesting. I feel from a game standpoint, I feel if the Eagles win, it will be a high-scoring game. But if the Buccaneers can kind of keep that Eagles offense off of the field, I have a feeling they're going to beat them in a very low-scoring game. They're kind of just going to play their game. So the Eagles really have to focus on their game and getting their offense working because I feel on the defensive side, you guys are doing pretty well. The corner's not traveling and everything. That's kind of a problem. But I feel defensively, you guys are pretty solid for just game sake. But the offense, if the offense is not on their game and the offense doesn't execute as well as they can, then that'll probably be a problem. So I'm like 60-40 on this game in favor of the Eagles. But the Buccaneers, they could pull it off if they do some certain things. And to go back to what George said about how in the beginning of the year they were doing so well, and how at the end of the year they suck. They've literally been doing the exact same playbook with no adjustments. I feel like in that league, you need to like be free flowing. You need to make adjustments in order to succeed. And I feel as this year, the Eagles, they kind of haven't done that.
Yep. Agreed. I think the 49ers put the blueprint out on us, and we were never able to adjust, and other teams saw it. Nick Bosa even said that we exposed them and stuff. So it's like,
I think so.
They put the blueprint out on our offense, and then it's like, yeah, like I hate to say that too. Like I kind of laughed when Nick Bosa said that because he didn't really have a crazy impact in that game. But maybe he was right. Maybe they put the blueprint out on us, and then like, yeah, like
there's no maybe they did, bro. They did, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, like, well, it's speculation, but I was like, kind of like what Rob said though too, with Brian Johnson, like maybe he's just not a good coordinator. Like, sometimes people just aren't skilled at the position. It was his first time ever being an offensive coordinator, even though he had been in the background. But sometimes people just aren't good at their job. Like, I like the job
defensive lineman is work
at the position they're put in. Sometimes, like the capacity of what you have to work with is just it's not good. Not every coordinator, everybody would be a coordinator in NFL if everybody was good at their job. Some people they kind of stink. So maybe he's just not good.
They found a bad time to stink. I'll tell you that, dude.
Yeah, I like
definitely a terrible time.
I like what Zach said though too, because they have kind of just been running the same concept. There just hasn't been adjustments. There's been no adjustments, and you can't win that way. Once a team figures out what you're doing, you have to be able to adjust. And kind of reminds me of Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly had that high-powered offense when he was with the Eagles, and then after 2 years, everybody figured out what he was doing, and Chip Kelly was never able to adjust. And when that happened, he was he was off the Eagles, and he went to San Francisco, and then he was out of the NFL. Like everybody figured him out. I hate them going all the way back to Chip Kelly, but he was like they figured him out, and he was never able to adjust. And then it's kind of like how these guys are. So some people are thinking that like Sirianni said something earlier in the year that they weren't going to show their whole hand. And like, I think some people are like falsely optimistic that like, we're just going to all of a sudden turn this on. And like, it's, they've been hiding plays and all this stuff, but why would you like not win the division and try to get home field advantage? That just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, and then Brandon Graham said something like, yeah, well, we're right where we need to be. Like, keep doubting us. Like, this is exactly how we like it. And like, I'm like, yeah, but they've been saying this stuff for like weeks, and it's like eventually it's hard to buy in. I don't think you can just turn the switch on just like that and go on like a crazy run. Even like wild card teams that get into the playoffs, like we've seen the Giants and stuff, they start to win down the stretch, and it's like this has just been an epic collapse. It's like Marius said, it's never been done that a team goes 10-1 and doesn't get 12 wins. It's the first time ever. So
yeah, I thought when the Eagles went 10-1, I was like, okay, they're gonna start like losing games. They're just gonna rest up for the playoffs, and then they just started completely crumbling. And I was like, okay, wait, maybe this is like, I don't know if it's planned anymore, because I knew they were gonna lose some games once they hit that 10 wins. Yeah, because at that point it's kind of guaranteed that you're going to the playoffs. But after they started winning multiple games, I was kind of like, okay, maybe something's going on. So
yeah,
there's a difference between losing a game, Zach, like you said, or like kind of playing. Okay, we're not gonna play our best. We'll put some of the reserves, possibly. Guys haven't played in a while, so kind of rest. Hurts these guys. But there's a difference between getting destroyed and crushed. And in the midst of that, you never win a game, and you feel like you let something out there. Like Steve said, there's a blueprint. I mean, it's not that like we're that bad. It's just that like they've seen the mistakes that we did, and after the 49ers game, it's like they all capitalized on it. And like you said, and Mary said it earlier, way earlier in the show, 20 minutes ago, that like basically we never really like adjusted from there. We never could really adapt from that part of the game, man. You're not gonna know in no team history, sport, what it was like a team sport, a similar format. It has like the same tactic going to take you all the way through in like 12 games, 7 games, 18 games, whatever the case may be. I mean, come on now, we got to think smarter than that, man. And unfortunately, we just got too high on our horse, and we got caught up. And I think the players know what's up, but like you said, there might be some riffraff going on in the locker room too, because nothing got fixed since then. And well, I'm looking at some of the coaches here. I mean, all the stuff we have here, all the guys, defensive coaches and all that. they clearly have made some adjustments for us to, to do a little different. Unless the players just take it on themselves and say, never mind what we learned, but it creates riffraffs within the field, like you said earlier. Like it's like Jalen's like confused in a way because like he's confused because he knows the game better than anybody at the back of his head. But they're doing one thing and he's trying to like, maybe like adapt or like tell his guys in the field to do something different. But now it's like they're programmed to play a certain way. The coach got their say so. Nobody wins like that, man. And unfortunately, no, I'm gonna be honest. If we're not gonna no improvement be made, no kind of like something to repair, like some of the the holes in our game in the last 4 or 5 games, we're gonna lose to the Bucks too. Let's keep it real. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys, yeah, we're gonna win. Nah, we need to fucking improve.
You picking us to lose? You picking us to win or lose?
No, I'm not picking us. I'm picking us to win. But if we don't have some kind of different.
Oh no!
What?
He froze for a second.
Here he's back. Here we go.
I can't. Can anybody hear him? I can't hear him.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
Is he?
All
right, yo. Well, listen. So,
my bad, yo.
listen, guys, listen. So, for me, I just feel like it's very much true what you were saying. We're not making adjustments, Steve. Like, I really do think that we really should have 2 or 3 play. All the great coaches have about 2 or 3 playbooks worth of material that they can just rotate off of and thrown in with some trick plays in there. I mean, Doug did it. Remember the Philly special? Stuff like that. I mean, you got to be really unique. You got to be really creative in these offenses now where the NFL learns what you do real quick. Like you said, with Chip Kelly, it took a year or 2 and he's out. He's gone. Sirianni, I think that Sirianni, a lot of his flaws were covered up by good players. And I do think that the league is starting to catch on to, okay, schematically, how can we beat this team, right? How can we negate that talent, right? And it's they found a formula. Like we said, the 49ers found a formula on how to deal with this. But there's been no counter to it. And that's what everyone's frustrated about. There's been no, okay, 4 or 5 games in, everyone's found out you out. Everyone's found out what type of offense you got. Everyone's found out, what type of routes that certain players play where it's just a 50-50 ball. How can we tip the scale to where it's A.J. Brown's not going to catch that ball? How can we tip the scale? Do we got to get the Hurts first? Do we got to put A.J. Brown in double coverage? And they've cracked that code. Now, my thing is, why were we not using running backs like Rashad Penny earlier in the season? Why were we not using Dallas Goedert more when he came back? Why didn't we sign Zach Ertz? Even signing Zach Ertz and going back to, those 2 tight end sets, 2 receiver sets, and kind of rewinding it back to kind of how Doug's offense was, even doing that would be a big ass move, a big counter to how these guys are playing us. And I think that a lot of fans are frustrated and a lot of fans have lost faith in the coaching staff because, it's just been more of the same thing over and over again. And, you can go the Ocho Cinco route and say, hey, Eagles have been kind of doing what they've been doing to try to cover things up for the playoffs. Yeah, but why would you deliberately lose the 2nd seed and home field advantage and doing that? So now you're just making your road harder. So I just think that, I just really do think that the coaching staff at this point is pretty incompetent. As an Eagles fan, this is probably the first time I've ever felt like I would not be sad if we lost to the Bucks. I really wouldn't be sad if we lost to the Bucks because the more games that we play that are perceived as pointless, because, I don't know how many of us in here think we're going to win a Super Bowl with this coaching staff.
Yeah.
No, they got exposed. They ain't no way in hell. I'd be shocked. If they somehow made it to the Super Bowl, I'd be shocked.
The only way I could see this game maybe being a boost is if the Eagles go into Tampa Bay, kind of like Zach said, and we blow them out. We blow them out. If we go into Tampa and we blow them out, that would put us maybe on the map that maybe this team found something. and maybe they can catch that lightning in a bottle to do something. But if they win this game and it's like a close game, it's just going to continue. The only way I can see you maybe finding something is if you go in there and you beat this team handedly like you should, an inferior opponent. But that's the only way I could see you taking some hope from this. George is trying to talk, but he's like, I can't hear him. Yeah, can't hear you, bro.
Is he muted?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Nah, he wasn't muted. Yeah, that's just my thoughts, though. If they go in and blow them out, maybe you can see, like, okay, your defense kept the score low and your offense scored heavily. So maybe y'all both found something that maybe you can, like, build off of. But if it's like another close game and they just win by like luck or like the luck of the draw, like close game, field goal win, even a 7-point win, like it's not a 2-score win or 3-score win. Like
it's a waste, man. Cause the players are just gonna keep playing. They're gonna be more liable to get injured. Sidney Brown's already tore his ACL. I mean, we got a couple of players here who, I mean, off of the screen passes, and AJ Brown, actually, I don't know if you noticed this, but AJ Brown reacted to that. Rob mentioned it earlier. Like when Devontae got hurt on the screen pass, AJ Brown went to the sideline and was like, he was just shaking his head and just giving Sirianni the dirtiest look. Like, because so I think that it's Brian Johnson's scheme, and I think what Sirianni has been trying to do has been trying to make it interchangeable. Like, I do think that they both have a hand in the scheme. I do think that it's both of their faults. Like, because at the end of the day, even if it is Brian Johnson calling the plays and even if it is Brian Johnson's scheme, who appointed him to that position? Like, who had the confidence in him to elevate him to offensive coordinator? It was Sirianni. So, I mean, either way you flip the fucking pancake, dude, they're both at fault.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be really interesting because I just don't know if they can flip it around like so quickly. It's just gonna be I don't know.
No, I don't think they can, man. I don't think this is a situation where you can just flip the switch, man. Because the thing is, this team has internal issues. There's something going on in that locker room, man, that hasn't been addressed. I don't know if the coaches have lost faith in the players. I don't know if the players have lost faith in the coaches, whatever the case is, man. But I don't think you can just flip the switch and, all of a sudden win 40-7 and 48-17. I personally just don't see that happening, man. There's clear internal issues here that needs to be resolved. And maybe Rich is right, bro. Maybe if they lose, man, that might give management motivation to just fire everybody, man, and just start from scratch. Maybe that might be the best thing that could come out of this.
Yeah.
If I was a player for the Eagles, like theoretically, I'd be pissed at the coaches. That like the coaches should not be doing that in the NFL for that good of a team. That team has way too much talent to be like a one-trick pony the whole time. Like they need to bring some variety into it, and they need to like use their players to their strengths, not to their weaknesses.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, like I was saying, like I have us winning this game for sure. Being the Buccaneers, but we're not gonna go very far. I'm not very hopeful. We're either gonna lose to Dallas or the Niners. So or even the Lions if they make it there. So like Zach was saying, too much talent. We have a lot of talent, but it's just not being utilized right. And it comes down to strategy, which comes down to the coaches. So, hey, like Mary said, maybe we lose and we revamp the coaching staff. Might be a blessing. Might be a blessing in disguise. So,
yeah,
it's just shame, man. Right. It just shames that it had to like get to this though, man. That like we have to have an epic collapse just to clean house, man.
Yeah,
we had like such a good season. We were to the Super Bowl last year, and that to see it go up in smokes, man, that would really truly be a shame.
Yeah,
That would be insane to see Bill Belichick go to the Eagles.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he's out there. There's going to be some other ones too. They said if the Steelers, I don't know if this is going to happen because the Steelers are very loyal to coaches, but they said if the Steelers get eliminated in the first round, which is probably it's going to likely happen. Maybe they might finally move on from Mike Tomlin. I don't know if he's going to be available, but the thing is about like Bill Belichick though, he's not going to be on the market long. So if the Eagles win this Bucs game, and then we go and play Dallas or San Fran and lose, I don't think Bill Belichick will be on the market by then. I think he'll be going pretty quickly. Like somebody's going to get him quick.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh might be on the market, dude. Michigan just won the national title, man, and I think they said that he wants to desperately come back to the NFL, bro. So I'll tell you what, man, if he's available, man, shit, I'll go out there and try to do everything I can to get him. He took the Niners to the Super Bowl, man. I'm pretty sure he can do the same thing with the Eagles.
Yeah, I heard already 2 teams were in line for him. I think it was the Raiders and somebody else.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, we have serious talent, bro. If Harbaugh comes here, man, he'll have a great offense to work with.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm pretty sure I have full confidence that he'll do everything he can to fix the defense, man. The other 2 teams are in the running, bro. They don't have the offense that we do, bro. So if Harbaugh's available, man, I would make that pitch to him.
Zach's like, yeah, keep him out of the AFC West.
I'm just thinking though, because Bill Belichick, he could possibly go to the Chargers because the Chargers have an opening, and Bill Belichick, he wanted like a young quarterback to work with, and I'm thinking maybe he will probably go to the Chargers, and if that happens, Jim Harbaugh goes to the Raiders. That would be Harbaugh, Belichick, Sean Payton, and Andy Reid. That would just be
Oh boy.
I will say this though. I will say that Belichick loves Jalen Hurts. Like Belichick loves Jalen Hurts. Like his work ethic, what he represents, the way he carries himself is almost like robotic on the podium, just like Bill. And I think Bill would be drawn to that type of quarterback.
The only thing I got to say though is, could Howie put the ego aside for a second? Because here's the problem with Howie and Bill Belichick. I don't know if they'll be butting heads, and I don't know if that could work. I honestly think if them two get together, it could be a fantastic relationship because Howie can do Bill's really not a great talent guy when it comes to the draft and stuff. So I think Howie could be good if he just plays his GM role. And then if Bill can do the coaching and how he can stay out of like the freaking meddling with the coaching and stuff and just let Bill bring his playbook in and bring his coordinators in, I think that could be a fantastic like duo. But the problem is sometimes guys just have too much ego. Bill, obviously, you know, rightfully so. And honestly, with how he's done with the draft the last few years, rightfully so. I mean, but that's the problem is like, I don't know. And then Cowboys fans were saying if they get eliminated early, they're going to get them. Do you really think Jerry Jones is like going to bring in somebody like Bill Belichick? I mean, Jerry Jones wants control. That's not going to happen. No way. I don't see that happens in Dallas.
The only reason I think Howie could swallow his pride is because Belichick has so many Super Bowl titles under his belt. Like, it comes to a point where, like, if you want what's best for the city, if you want what's best for the franchise, like, I feel like Howie would swallow his pride in this sense because at the end of the day, he would acknowledge, like, listen, we only have one. Like, Belichick has, what, 5, 6? Like, yeah, so, yeah, I mean, I will say this to what Mario just said. Like, dude, we got to get rid of this coaching staff. And the moment that I realized that we have to get rid of this coaching staff, even if we win the Bucs game, like, I mean.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I'm going to be honest, man. If they win against the Buccaneers, I don't think Howie's going to have the heart to fire Nick Sirianni, bro. I'm going to keep it 1,000 with you, man. They have to lose to the Buccaneers in order for the – I think maybe Brian Johnson will be gone next year if they lose the divisional round, bro. But if they beat the Buccaneers, man, I think Nick will be here next year.
Yeah, no, he will be. He will be probably. Yeah, if they do, I agree with that. I think Brian Johnson, Sean Desai, and Matt Patricia will all be gone no matter what. I think they're going to fire all the coordinators. Nick Sirianni will probably still be here.
So you guys don't think there will be any adjustments made significantly to the coaching staff, even if we win the Bucs? Because my thing is this, like, especially with news and stuff, like, I don't know if anyone's heard about what Hargrave has said on that podcast about, hey, listen, you know, the culture is pretty similar between San Francisco and Philadelphia as far as the players being close. But when it comes to the actual practices, I don't know if y'all heard this yet, but Hargrave was like, 49ers practices are way harder than the Philadelphia Eagles practices. He said Philadelphia Eagles practices are cupcake compared to the 49ers practices.
I did hear that. I did. I just
Damn,
actually heard it
that's not
today.
good.
I heard it today. Yeah.
That is not good, man.
Even
That's
with that news,
that's a bad look, bro. That's a bad look.
Yeah, it's horrible.
All signs are saying to fire Sirianni, huh?
Yeah. It's gonna be a fire sale, it looks like. I don't know. Like the only hope I have is
what if we go to the Super Bowl though and we don't win? We go to the Super Bowl.
No, of course he's going to stay there and then, man. But bro, you honestly think with the way we've been playing, man, we go get to the Super Bowl?
You think we're getting to the Super Bowl, bro?
I'm like, man, we'd be lucky to get. I mean, I think we can beat the Buccaneers, honestly, man. But we'd be lucky to make it out of the divisional round, dude.
Yeah. Here's the thing: if we somehow make
game after the Buccaneers, more than likely.
If the Cowboys somehow lose it, if we
FanDuel has us -3.
Yeah, essentially, it's a 6-point favorite because
plus 3 for them.
Yeah, but it goes our way. Yeah, it swings our way.
110 minus 110. Yep.
But
so obviously the Bucs got the.
Here's the only way I could see the Eagles maybe getting to the NFC Championship. They're not going to get to the Super Bowl though, because you're eventually going to have to play either Dallas in Dallas, or you're going to have to play probably San Fran in San Fran. If they play the Lions maybe in the second round, I'm not diminishing what the Lions can do, especially at home. I think they're 6-2 at home. Maybe they'd have a chance to beat the Lions. Maybe I don't know. Like, but I even that I don't know. Like, it's just because maybe the Lions just because of inexperience.
Do you think if the Rams win, they'd play the Rams, or would that go to a different team?
Well, no, because the Rams and the Eagles, we're in the wild card. So if the Rams, because if in that case, then the Rams would play the Niners because they're the lowest seed, and we would play the we would play, I think, the winner of we would probably most likely play Dallas.
Yeah. So we could play the Rams. The only way it happens though is if Dallas and the Lions lose. So if the Packers and the Rams win, the Packers are the 7th seed, so they would play the number 1 seed in San Francisco. And if we won and the Rams won, we would play the Rams at the 5th and 6th seed. We would have home. We would actually have a home game if that happened. But that's a pipe dream.
Well, I mean, I'm under the impression that I don't see Dallas losing to Green Bay. But if that happened,
I don't see that.
It could happen. You don't know. It could happen.
It could.
That'd be crazy, man. You telling me all 3 wildcard teams are going to win, bro?
that would be
insane. San Francisco would be licking his chops. They'd be like, "Yo, like, it'd be a freaking San Francisco would just be like delighted." Like, because I don't know, like that's the thing. Like, if Dallas had to play like San Fran in the second round, which isn't possible, Dallas would be out. Like, I just think San Fran's Dallas' Achilles heel. Dallas can just not beat San Fran, even when San Fran's a wild card team. They can't beat San Fran.
Dude, Dallas is not that good of a team.
They aren't.
They got bailed out so many times throughout this season. They should have lost.
Cowboys calling Cowboys, man. That's why I said Stephen A. Smith always says, "Didn't I tell you? Just wait."
That's what I'm saying, man.
We'll see, man. But they're probably gonna beat.
They're a good home team, man. I have to give them that. They're a very good home team.
They always win at home,
and they're guaranteed at least 2 home games. So even if they get to the NFC title game, they lose to the Niners. They'll have 2
bro.
Now, if
Dallas will go to the Super Bowl possibly, but they're gonna lose.
But they're gonna have to play. But eventually, they're gonna have to play the Niners. I don't see the Niners losing in the divisional round. They're gonna have to play.
If they go to the Super Bowl, man, I'm gonna puke, dude.
I'm telling you, what can go wrong
will go wrong.
Yo,
what about this, guys? How about San Fran? Maybe if San Fran goes to Super Bowl, I mean, and like Kansas City somehow makes it again. I don't know if they're the same. Like, I mean,
Kansas City not gonna make it.
Kansas City's not really as good as they were last
season. Ravens, Ravens good making
or Bills. Ravens or Bills. It's gonna be one of them two.
Ravens got way too much talent.
I say Ravens.
Yeah,
I got Ravens.
You think the Ravens are going to Super Bowl? You think so?
Remember this though.
That defense.
Just remember this,
good, man.
That defense.
The Ravens. Well, the Ravens are favorite, but I'm not counting out the Bills, man, because they've been red hot, dude. So
the Bills are good, bro. We barely beat them.
Josh Allen. Let's be realistic. Josh Allen's also been to the AFC Championship. He was very close to getting to the Super Bowl. The only thing, and honestly, the Bills have a really good defense too. The only thing I'm going to say though is the Ravens defense is probably the best defense in football right now. Like, they are really good. Like, the guys, they got Patrick Queen, they got Roquan Smith. They got good corners as well. Like, it's and a good D line. But I will say, Lamar Jackson still does have something to prove. He's never won a playoff game. They were the number 1 seed, and he was unanimous MVP a few years back. and they got eliminated in the divisional round versus the Titans after that bye. So he still does have a lot to prove. But the Ravens do look like head and shoulders. I actually think even you saw when they played the Niners, they beat the Niners handily. I think the Ravens look like the best team in football, but Lamar does have something to prove.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson got to definitely prove a little bit. He's a good quarterback.
He does.
I will say, though, when Stafford won the Super Bowl, Stafford had a lot to prove. I mean, Stafford, before that Super Bowl he won, he put in a lot of years and a lot of work with nothing to show for it. And sometimes it's just your time. And that's just my gut feeling. I 100% agree with Josh Allen, though. Josh Allen, it could be his time. You never know. It's just that Bills is a franchise that has a history of. Because Zach, what's your team? You're a West Coast guy.
I like the Broncos.
The Broncos. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't make that one, unfortunately, but
close.
Hopefully next year's new year.
Yeah, and then
I'll tell you what, Zach. I didn't see them benching Russell Wilson, bro. Let me ask you: were you surprised by that, or what did you think when they?
I was a little surprised, but as I got the story of if he doesn't make a physical by March, they have to pay him an additional $39 million. But I thought it as because LA, the Chargers, and Denver, those are the two final candidates for Sean Payton to go. And I was like, I think Sean Payton's just doing this so he can get fired and go over to LA because he doesn't like Denver. So that was my initial impression. But as more of as I did more of research and I got into it more, I figured out that it was for money reasons and logistical reasons. And I mean, they still won even with a backup quarterback. The first game, the second game they lost, but we showed some good, some bad, and some really bad. So we'll see, but hopefully next year's new year.
Yeah. I think you guys with Sean Payton will be okay. I think I honestly think he's a really good coach. And I think the Broncos will be on the up. It'll be second year with him, so he'll have another year he'll have 1 year under his belt. And I'd say a good potential division, but I think it's going to be between Broncos and Chiefs next year. I don't really see the Raiders taking the Raiders taking a huge decline.
I think the only thing is it depends on who the Chargers hire as a head coach.
That is true because the Chargers are a very talented team. Their defense, though, is not really a great defense. They have a really good offense, though, a very good talented offense.
The Broncos will be okay next year.
Yeah, they'll be good.
I'm hoping for that because we've had just terrible luck since our Super Bowl. So
yeah. I will say this in football in the playoffs, guys. Defense wins championships. So let me go off that. If anybody out there thinks the Eagles have a chance of winning the Super Bowl, our defense has been horrible. So what do they say in football? Defense wins championships. That's going to tell you there ain't no way in hell the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl.
10% chance.
10%. Okay. Yeah, I was like, we'd have to turn it on to somehow, unless the Eagles have just been playing messing around with their food and just joking around, which there's some people out there who really think that the Eagles are just doing this on purpose, to become the underdogs. So I do not see that. You can't. That's a very naive way to look at it. You can't. It's just if that happens, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Nah, bro. Because I can just tell by the body language of the players, bro.
Yeah, unless they're the best actors I've ever seen, on the field. Just let's put on an act, guys. Let's act frustrated. Let's do dumb stuff. Yeah, but then Devontae Smith getting hurt, people getting injured. It's come on, man. Why would they do that on purpose? I think
no way you lose 6 games like that, bro.
Run, DeAndre Swift. Why? DeAndre Swift likely is not coming back next year. He got 1,000-yard rushing season. They didn't even run him to his potential, and he had 1,000 yards. He's probably going to want more money. The Eagles are known as an organization. Since Shady McCoy, we don't pay running backs. So they're probably not going to pay DeAndre Swift. What do you have to lose even if he gets hurt? Run this guy. I don't understand it. Run freaking DeAndre Swift. And it opens up the passing game if you do that. And the Bucs don't have a good pass defense, so.
Yeah, I mean, if somehow the Ravens, the Bills, the 49ers, and the Cowboys all get eliminated, the Eagles may have a chance. But theoretically, will that happen? I don't think anyone's going to eliminate San Francisco or the Ravens. I think it's going to be San Francisco Ravens in the Super Bowl. But,
yeah,
if those 4 teams were to get out of the playoffs somehow, then the Eagles could have a very good chance.
I would ideally love to see an Eagles-Bills Super Bowl. But if I could pick my perfect Super Bowl, that'd be perfect. Because even if we lost to the Bills, at least the Bills finally get themselves a Super Bowl. That city's never won a Super Bowl, so
they don't need one. They don't need.
No,
We need another
one.
We want another one.
Yeah, I want to go down Broad Street again, man.
If we happen to win the Super Bowl this year, that would be the craziest storyline since the Giants.
Yo, boys, you know where it starts, right? You know where it starts, right? Where do we watch some of the games last year? You got to go to Chickies and Pete's, man. That's where they won both.
Yes.
You got to go to Chickies, man. It's the good luck charm.
Yeah, go to South Philly.
Have you ever heard of Chickies and Pete's, Zach? Like as like a restaurant?
No,
I
have not.
Yeah, it's like a Philadelphia thing. That's why it's like a restaurant. They have like good seafood and like cheesesteak and like it's just like good food. Like they have a
Zach, we gotta mail you out some some Chickens and Pete's fries, man. Come on, we'll just make it happen, man. Come on.
You gotta mail Zach out like cheesesteaks, bro. Like,
yeah.
or I'll find a way to come out to Philadelphia and we'll watch the game or something.
Yo,
that'd be nice. That's what's up, man.
Yo, that would be awesome, bro. Like, yo, we can say like drinks and like cheesesteaks on us, bro. Like, I got you, bro. I got you.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, man. That would so that's why I said I'm like Chickies and Pete's we went to for 2 of the games last year, the divisional round of NFC Championship. They won both of them, and then we almost won the Super Bowl. It's close. We thought we were going to win the Super Bowl. We all caught the game together. Well, me, Rich, and Mario, and Rob, we all caught the game together.
You lost that shit because of Sirianni too.
And Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, too. Man. I have to blame Gannon more there. You can't allow yourself to get beat twice on the same play for a touchdown, bro. That's inexcusable, dude.
I don't know, man. You know what, though? This is either way, man. I'm excited, though. We got playoff football back, so we get to probably see some good games over the weekend. And then this is the most football we're going to see in the playoffs because then the games get less. So then next week it'll be 4 matchups. And then,
let's enjoy what we can. Finish the season strong. Hopefully they do something, the Eagles and the Packers.
Yeah,
hopefully. You guys have any other thoughts before we wrap up here? We're going on for a little bit, so just any other thoughts before we end it here?
Enjoy the games, guys. May the best teams win. And
yeah,
we'll be watching
enjoy the games.
Sure.
Sirianni hired Gannon, so it's still his fucking
Sirianni
fault.
be going by next season. Sirianni's going to be next season.
Rich just hates
Unless he wins
Sirianni.
Rich has been waiting to get on here to talk about Nick Sirianni.
With how much hate you've been talking on Sirianni, I hope you send him over to LA so we have an easy opponent.
We'll gift wrap him to you, man. Ship him out express, bro. How's that sound?
He'll probably promote Chip Kelly, take Chip Kelly out of college and fucking put him on OC.
Chip Kelly's terrible too.
Great.
Doug Pedersen.
We'll overnight him to LA. Don't worry. We'll overnight him.
All right.
That would be funny. But I want to thank all you guys for coming on. Obviously, thank you, Zach. Thank you, Mario, Rich, Rob. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Some good discussion. Layla, for anybody that tuned in after, she couldn't make it because of her voice. And then Dante actually texted me. He said he had a situation that had popped up, so unfortunately he went home. But yeah, this was fun. Almost a couple hours in, but we had some good discussion.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed being here, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome, bro. Good to have you guys. It was a good episode.
Glad to have you.
Good episode, man. Gotta put this on the channel 100% and put it on my channel.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
100%, man.
Yeah, I'll be checking in on Rich's media, bro, after Monday night, man. It's gonna be a fire stream.
Well, hopefully it's a positive one.
Yeah, hopefully.
Somebody cut Mario's.
Can't hear you, bro.
I think that's Jordan.
Jordan. Yeah, I was gonna say somebody cut Mario's rant and Rich's rant and make a short out of that.
Oh shit!
Those are some good rants.
I'm gonna rant in public too. I'm gonna be somewhere watching this game, so I don't know where I'm. Thankfully, I'm fasting away from alcohol for this month, so I won't be too crazy. But I'll make sure to try to get it viral though.
I like it, man. Well, I'll have to cut up some shorts for it, so that way we can. I'll definitely cut up some shorts on the rants. That way we can put some shorts together. We could probably put together like a solid 3 or 4 shorts just from this episode.
Yeah.
So.
Come on, Steve, make me famous, bro.
I'll definitely cut some shorts up for this, so that way we can have them like on the thing. I'll send them to you guys, all of you, after I cut them off. But yeah, guys, again, thank you for having me. Thank you for joining, and then also let's enjoy some good football, guys.
Yeah, enjoy football.
Exactly.
All right, man. Let's go, man.
Take
Go
care,
Birds,
fellas.
man.
Go Birds.
All right, guys.
Peace out.
Yep, great
See
weekend,
you.
everyone. Birds.
Take care, guys.
All right, bye-bye.